The Art Smarts program is a project of the Newfoundland and Labrador Arts Council. The idea of the project is to bring artists into the school, artists from the community into the school, to give teachers, to help educate teachers as to how the arts and the curriculum can be brought together in whichever way, whether that be through the visual arts or drama, music.
The project we did here at École Saint-Gérard reflects the grade 5 text, which deals with Newfoundland and Labrador, and in particular the history of Newfoundland and Labrador. And we realized that since it was the 50th anniversary of Confederation, and the text dealt with Confederation and everything leading up to it, that we could easily incorporate drama, music, the fine arts, visual arts into such a project.
The proposal we submitted to the Arts Council asked for funding for 3 artists in the end to come into the school and work with the teachers and the students.
Yes, so we had Professor Clara Doyle of Memorial University, who came along in the early days while the children were reading the text and discussing the text and coming up with ideas and brainstorming scenes that they might have. And we had Patricia Andrews, who's a local actor and teaches acting in the community. And she has worked on this program elsewhere and had experience at that. And Fergus O'Byrne, who helped the children write songs and practice their music and their instruments. And also the music teacher here, Corona Brophy, who was working closely with Fergus as well.
The emphasis from the beginning wasn't necessarily on the production, but on the process of having the children experience the topics in their social studies in some way other than opening the book, reading it, and answering the questions. Part of our proposal was to present the final production to a group of grade 5 students from another school.
You will recognize some of the topics you have studied in social studies this year: the biotics, fishing animals, early governments, and the Confederation. This play is all about how we have governed ourselves since the first people lived here. We hope that you will enjoy this performance.
I got in on this project because I write scripts for theatre, and I also have an interest in the integration of the curriculum into the arts. I just met your students. When we initially sat down, we meaning 3 or 4 teachers, the principal, Fergus, Patricia, and myself, we decided we wanted the central piece to be Confederation, but we also figured to give the context we would bring in the biotics. We would certainly bring in early forms of government, and then responsible government, and then Confederation. So in a sense we had 4 different scenes within the one dramatic piece. And the challenge was to put all that into 1.5 hour. So I have been encouraging them to do their research on those topics, and then when they get the material from their textbook and from the net and wherever else, then we will take the most important points and put those parts into the play, and then later on we'll actually write the script, and they will be writing the script along with me. Okay. And that's the plan. What do you have to brag about today that you know about Confederation?
We bring a book, and it says a lot on Confederation.
Yeah.
And a bit of information on Joey Smallwood and Peter Cashin.
I see. And those are important people, are they?
Yeah. Peter Cashin was against joining with Canada, and Joey Smallwood was
wanted to join.
Wanted to join.
Pro-Confederation.
So once we get the story mapped out, those 2 people probably will become important characters, do you think?
Yeah.
And what else did you find out about Confederation?
It was in the year 1949.
Yeah. Did it happen very quickly, or did it take a while to happen?
A while. Because the votes were like really close.
Oh yeah.
We heard that there was
51 and 49.
we heard that there was lots of people who were against and for, and they protested.
Yeah, so it wasn't easy.
No.
And that's really important for drama, isn't it? I mean, one of the important things in drama is we try to get tension. And right here in the Confederation story, we have built-in tension. There are a whole lot of people who wanted to join Confederation, and a lot of other people who didn't want to join Confederation. Now, do you think that will get into our play?
Yeah.
How would we best do that?
I was brought in on after the scripts were developed by Claire Doyle, and they had 4 scripts to work with, and I think about 50 children, and we got together and we auditioned the children for the roles, the perspective roles in the scripts, and then we went right through the rehearsal process and developed the scripts from there on in maybe 10 weeks. We went in from very beginning of character analysis. They each had their character analysis, the who, what, when, where, and why, past, present, and future of their characters. We went right down into breaking down the script into times, into beats. We went into costuming. They found a lot of their own costumes. We had makeup classes. We did physical movement classes. We did projection and voice classes. We went right through the whole process of everything from character analysis right down to stage and makeup and blocking and performance.
I was asked to come in as I suppose, a music consultant, if you want to put it in official terms. I've been an educator as well as a musician for 10, 15 years, and I was delighted to get the opportunity because I've been a great believer in teaching the younger children folk music and the importance of keeping the culture. So this was a marvellous opportunity, the ArtSmart's idea to bring artists into schools, and I jumped at the chance. The song's written about anti-Confederation, but we don't have, it's a song that was pro-Confederation. I'm after doing a whole bunch of research, so maybe if we could come up with the words of a song. So maybe think about some of the ideas that Joey and his crowd were sort of talking about. So what was one of the big issues that you learn about that he was talking about at the time?
That you would have pensions and baby bonus.
Okay, the pensions going. So maybe we need to write a verse dealing with the baby bonus or something like that. Let's use the think about the air of Calligrosserie. Yeah, let's use the Calligrosserie because then we can get the strings working with it. And so, what do you think? What's a good way to start it?
If you want the pensions and
if you want the pensions.
And the baby bonus.
Okay, somebody write down the ideas as we go.
You can choose.
If you want the pensions and the baby bonus too. Okay. Now, where are we going from there? You guys are the writers. I'm playing the guitar player. There's a really strong strings program in this school at the moment, and Corona Brophy is the music teacher, and she's very strong on teaching the strings, and you know the kids playing the tunes. I wrote it between myself and Corona. We wrote a cello part to go with some of the stuff, and they're really into it. And there's a couple of youngsters in there who are good players and who are interested in the music. They learn a lot of classical music as well, but they've got a really good ear for the folk music.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm the music teacher here for grades 5 and 6 choral, and I have the string program from grades 3 to 6. So, and with the initiation of the ArtSmarts project this year in the school, I was really excited about it because I felt that the work that I had done with some of the kids in the early part of the year would really tie in with this. Fergus, Sobern and I got together like the very first day and felt that we work a lot of our music, especially the more common songs, into the script quite well. And we thought about things like how it would work with the Beothicks and each segment of the government developing and that sort of thing, and what songs would work well. Initially, all the teachers met, the 2 grade 5 teachers, the principal, the music teacher, and the 3 artists. And we sat and decided how we were going to work this out with our daily plans, our courses, whether we would use our social studies time or our English time and whatever. And there was some part of all of the curriculum that you could really work some portion of this into. And I think we all realized that. And the running of the school day was sort of flexible to all of us so that we could get this done. The whole curriculum is one, and you can use music or art or drama in any of these courses that these kids are learning.
We are gathered here this evening to honor the life of a great hunter. We will prepare his body with the red ochre, that is our symbol of the life-giving force. Let the sleeper sleep his dreamless sleep, and wake in the great world beyond.
Let him sleep the great sleep.
Come, my people, now we will rest. Tomorrow is the great hunt. The caribou are waiting.
In discussion with the teachers, we decided that the only way to make this manageable, how could we work with 50 students, would be to divide them into groups according to the divisions we had, Beothicks, early government, so on and so forth. Madame, this afternoon we will work with the Admirals group.
Ok, ceux qui travaillent sur les amiraux de pêche, vous allez avec Monsieur Doyle. Okay.
They certainly enjoyed doing the process. Now, don't get me wrong, they saw it as work because it is work, but they also saw it as their own, and they saw it as a different way of knowing, which is, when we preach about the arts, that's what we say. It's a different way of knowing. And I think they certainly have learned that, and my hope is that the teachers have learned that also.
Just listen to the 2 of them talking as if they had a say in how the place is run. So those admirals does what they want. It's the same thing every year. They rise with their entourage. Bet you didn't think I knew that big word, did ya? In the summer, and then leaves again in the fall. They often leave the place worse than they found it.
Sure, our husbands are gone for months, and they're paid starvation wages.
So the big thing for me when they came in was respect of the art itself and respect of one another in the art. And we had major discussions about not teasing other children, being very supportive of one another, clapping at a mistake as opposed to laughing at it, because a mistake is an effort and everybody deserves and gets a need for effort. So they need to know these things, that there's energy on stage that requires trust. And trust, in order to get that, you have to respect each other and love each other as a group of people. And they did that. They fell into that perfectly, and they were very respectful of time. And when they weren't, they went out for 10 minutes, and when they decided they were going to come back and respect again, they did so freely on their own. So they were great like that.
I am Sir Hugh Palliser. I am your new governor. I'd like to introduce my wife, Lady Palliser, and my son, Thomas.
It's like me. I'm a folk singer, and I have been for the last 37 31 years. And when I learned history in school, coming from Ireland, history was a very, very big part of the process of learning in Ireland. But it was very boring to me. I mean, I never learned that much history in school, although I saw all the charts and all the stuff they were teaching. But it was only when I started singing folk songs that I realised that the folk songs spoke of the history in a very personal way and explained personal sort of things that were going on with the ordinary day person. And so by exploring the history in folk songs, I think it's much more accessible to the children, because they're enjoying themselves singing, and yet when you talk about the words as you're learning the songs, it teaches them a lot about their history.
I heard what you just said. How dare you claim that we will be better off if we join Canada? You are getting to the point where you cannot think for yourselves.
Great Sparks, just be ashamed of yourself.
I certainly am not ashamed of myself. There are many more like me. Just you listen.
Not many children, I don't think anymore, have access to folk music at home anymore. They may hear a smattering of it, but nothing like what we did when we were growing up. When I came to the province first, people were learning it firsthand from the kitchen table. And now it's in the hands of the educators, and it's very important that the educators continue the process. And so we sat down and I gave them the words of the songs, and they jumped right on it. And it's wonderful to see a bunch of grade 5 youngsters very heartily singing "Don't Vote Confederation."
If you're not an artist, I guess you don't realize the work that it takes. There's a lot involved in preparing stage work. We had music, we had directorship, we had writing, we had costuming. We fit a lot in. We rehearsed for weeks. They put endless times of extra hours, their lunch hours. They were very dedicated. I put extra time in because they deserved it.
We have to realize that if we want children, students, to do the work, we have to leave that time. Because the temptation in all teaching, and in all directing, to be honest with you, is to jump in and say, here's the right answer, and here's how you do it. We have to allow people to grow into the roles, to learn what the process is. And that, for me, is a point that was really reinforced.
So I thought we could do a little part in the play that shows after the debate.
Maybe like Joey Smallwood and Peter Cashin on either side of the stage, and they like talk to each other.
I see.
And when there's protesters,
the nice thing about this program has been, I think, not only the production of the play, but the fact that the children had the opportunity to be exposed to an artist. Because I've been touring schools for the last 5 years doing a program of my own, but it's strictly a performance program. You're in, you're out, you're gone sort of thing, and the kids remember that. I think the Art Smarts is a much better idea in that it allows artists to spend a fair amount of time with children.
If Confederation should win on polling day, we'll all be at a party down around Conception Bay.
Okay, let's just try that. I'll just pass it in so everybody can read it.
Okay.
Ready?
Want the pensions and the baby bonus too. Oh, Confederation, I'm telling this to you. If Confederation should win a polling day, we'll all be at a party down around Conception Bay. Joey thinks his friends who drew Canada today. No cash and things to do for land wanted anyway. So when they get to Vegas, Joey's wants to lead the way. So go Confederation when you go on polling day.
I enjoyed the 3 artists that came. I think they really you know, certainly added to the program, and I feel that children have benefited greatly from it, from the experience. They enjoyed the singing and the dancing and the playing and the acting and the dressing up, the makeup, you know, it was all there, so I think it was a great opportunity. I know it'll be something that they'll never forget, because not only did they learn how to do these things, but they learned the whole history.
There are some very talented young people in that school. They have so much to offer as talent, as actors and singers and artists and painters, and I definitely think a lot of those children have really grasped it and loved it, and I most certainly think that they'll flourish in that area, and they definitely will go on into areas of the arts and develop it.
You must be talking about Widow Renee, because she's running you blind.
Keep your civil tongue in your head and speak to your governor with those great respect.
But I don't respect you, sir.
Take him from me.
One of my own agendas in being involved here, as part of my interest and love of drama and scripting and so on and so forth, is the opportunity for someone from the university to work directly with a school and to spend real time with children and with teachers. And also to do more than just talk about how we integrate the arts and curriculum. We talk about it so much. Invariably, we don't give ourselves time to do it. We don't have the opportunities to do it. And in this way, it becomes a lot more than tokenism. It becomes a lot more than theory. So that in a large part is something that's very important to me, and that's something that I would want to use in my own work in the Faculty of Education, to say, here is one way of doing it. And with the help of the Arts Council here, we can do it with the cooperation of you know, knowing administrators and teachers. Then there's so much we can actually do. When, let's say your parents will come to see it, and I'm sure they will, what do you want them to get from the play, from this bit about Confederation?
Well, I'd like them to say, like, oh, you did a good job and stuff. But I also would say, like, I learned a lot. Like,
yeah.
I learned a lot about Confederation. I didn't know this.
Okay, that's a good point.
I want to know that we do it in a different way, like in a play. Because it's not as fun reading the book and then doing a test about it.
That's boring. Yeah. We learn it like how we play and we learn too. And we have to learn how to learn a better way to learn. And we learn like what they wear and stuff too.
Sure.
When I have the chance to do this again, I will spend more time talking to the teachers involved, reassuring them that the objectives are being covered. You do not have to do this in the classroom in the traditional way at the same time as we're doing it in a different way. Let it happen this way, and have confidence that the children in the end will have just as much knowledge, and probably more, no doubt more, about their social studies topic as they would have had we done it in the read the book and answer the questions kind of way.
This pen, my friend, is going to give us a real government. You know that what we have written already has made a difference.
It certainly has made a lot of people mad with me.
Including Governor John Duckworth. If he had his way, you'd go to the gallows.
Let me see what you have there.
I'm writing to the British government. This document demands political and judicial reform. We must have protection from these flagrant acts of cruelty and injustice.
If a school is going to look for the time and talent of an artist from the community, we certainly have to find a way to pay these people for their time and their work. Schools fundraise for all kinds of things. This kind of thing can certainly be one of them.
Well, it'll be a while before we get rid of this lot, yeah.
At the district level, we need to keep in mind that the arts need to be supported in the schools, and anywhere we can go to look for funding or support, I think that it's our responsibility to do so, and the Art Smarts program gives you a little boost, a little start in the right direction.
I think this project was very successful in integrating the arts into the curriculum. I saw students up there who had really come out of themselves, who previously I thought of as very shy, and there they were, living the role of these governors and admirals and politicians, and really getting into it. And you can't compare that to reading a text. It's just a wonderful way for them to learn.
I tell you, tomorrow will be a glorious day for Newfoundland. A glorious day. Tomorrow we vote. The future is ours. Tomorrow we all march into the Dominion of Canada. It will be a glorious day.
If we have our way, Joe Smallwood, you will be marching the other way. There will be no glorious day for you. For Newfoundland, yes, but not for you. After tomorrow, Newfoundland will be its own country again.
Do you realize if you vote for Confederation, you'll be giving away a country?
Can someone please take that woman away?
I'm not going anywhere, Joe Smallwood.
She has a right to be here.
If we look at the wider goals, the larger goals of education, besides coming to the end of the year, having covered the social studies outcomes, the larger goals of helping these children find their strengths, the things they enjoy, the things they can be good at, just helping them to get to know themselves, gain confidence, and work with each other in ways that are not necessarily happening in the classroom every day.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why he is against joining with Canada. He's afraid you will be better off.
That is a foolish statement.
Peter Cashin is afraid that if you are not able to share in the wealth of Canada, his power is gone.
Will he really be better off, Mrs. Smallwood?
Call me Joe. That's what you do behind my back.
Ha! That's not all you come on your back.
If you vote to join Canada, you will be better off. You'll have better health care, old age pensions, and a baby bonus for every child.
Here we go with the baby bonus game. I changed my mind. I'm voting Confederation.
A large part of this project too was to educate teachers about the possibilities of the arts in the curriculum, and I know that these teachers will keep that in mind whether they're working in grade 5 another year or grade 7 or grade 12. They'll see the possibilities, they'll know what can be done. So I think from that point of view the project was extremely successful. If every project, every Art Smarts project touches 3 or 4 teachers, then 18 to 20 projects in the province every year can have a very big effect.
In a short while, the Prime Minister of Canada will welcome us into the Dominion. I can imagine what he will say.
My new friends from Newfoundland, I welcome you to the country of Canada. Now you are Canadians. Now the country is complete from sea to shining sea. You have all rights and benefits of being Canadian.
I can see the newspapers now.
Newfoundland finds the light. Canada wins. Confederation is complete. Smallwood wins a glorious day.
Thank you.